Our guest this morning is none other than Miss Lynn Whitfield. If you've watched Greenleaf at all, you know that she plays Lady Mae on OWN's hit drama series, Greenleaf. She's also a native Louisianian from the capital city, Baton Rouge. Well, we welcome her home right here to the OPT network. Miss Lynn, good morning and welcome.
Good morning. How are you?
I am grateful, and we're so glad that you took the time. Before we talk about Greenleaf and all the lies and deception in this final season, it has heated up beyond what anybody could have ever dreamed that it would. Let's take us back to when you got the acting bug and you knew that this was what you wanted to do.
Well, I actually, my grandmother, Estelle Butler, in Baton Rouge, I lived with my grandparents for the first 5 years of my life. You know, our family lived with them, and she would sneak me up and let me watch the $1 Million Movie with her. And they think I was sleeping. I was watching the Late Show, girl.
Uh-huh.
You couldn't tell me. And so watching movies, I just knew at 4, at 5, I want to do that. I want to make people laugh and make people cry and, go all those different places. I just knew it. And but I didn't really get to start pursuing it until I went to Southern University for 1 year. And, I was in the drama department there. The now changing name of Lehigh. I went to Robert E. Lee, and
Right.
that is
You went to
changing.
Robert E.
That's
Lee? Wow. What do you think about the now all of the controversy around Robert E. Lee right now?
well, the controversy around Robert E. Lee, the historical figure, uh, and the choices that he made, uh, is why there's controversy around schools named after him and statues of him. I think that it's important that the proper value be given to uh, the harm that was done. I think that it's great to change the name of the school. I think that it is great to understand the subliminal message or in your face message, if you will, of many of the statues of prominent figures of the Confederacy. And so I'm right now very excited that and hopeful because these are not just the opinions of Black people anymore, that this is becoming a global movement uh, and a global seeking of equality, of fairness, of justice. So I feel good that people are coming together of all stripes to say this is wrong. That makes me feel really good. I feel sad that so many people still don't understand why it's taken so personally and um, why we feel injustice, why we don't feel that the criminal justice system is working for us, why policing needs to be changed. It makes me sad that people in our world would not understand after what we've been able to see lately. Shout out to all the millennials and everybody using their phones as an information tool so that we have squarely in the middle of COVID-19 had to sit and actually look at some of these truths. So it makes me hopeful that things will change to a fairer, better place.
Sure. And being a girl in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and having such aspirations, how did you think that you would get to where you are now? Or did you have any clue? Because Hollywood and acting, I have to imagine it seemed very far from Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Yeah, I had no idea. I didn't think of it that way. I didn't say, wow, this is what I want. How am I going to get it? I thought, wow, this is what I want. I want to be really good at it. It didn't occur to me that I would only see, Diane Carroll or Lena Horne, sparingly, or Dinah Sands or Rosalind Cash. uh, it didn't occur to me that I was looking at Betty Davis, Audrey Hepburn, Marilyn Monroe, those actresses and saying, yeah, I could do this. It didn't occur to me until I was in Los Angeles. And I said, oh, this is really hard. And oh, it's different for Black actresses. There's a different set of opportunities, different kinds of roles, because then I always saw that I could do roles that had no color to them.
Mhm.
It was color because I'm Black, but it didn't occur to me that at Lehigh, I did get some of it, even though, so I excelled in interpretive reading at Robert E. Lee High School,
Mhm.
because in interpretive reading, I could create pictures that were anything I wanted them to be. You know, I could be Cleopatra, I could be anybody, I could be the lady of the house, because I was creating a whole picture in the reading itself. I did not uh, want to be in a lot of their plays and stuff, because in the plays, if it was a maid, of course they're going to think of the Black person.
Right.
They weren't thinking of colorblind casting or anything in school plays. And so it did occur to me a little then. But when I went out there to really go for it, I wasn't thinking like I'm a Black actress and I guess there's only going to be certain roles I can do. All that reality came to me when I started actually trying to do it, trying to, open doors and for myself, not
Mhm.
for generations or anything like that. I
Sure.
don't have any grandiose
Well, so
vision
how
of it.
was opening doors? Because I think that when we look at the success of Greenleaf on OWN, it opened so many doors. We see thespians, yourself and your cast members at their height, at their just grand work, and those doors may not have been opened had it not been for OWN and the creation of Greenleaf.
Well, then that just makes me really excited because as a storyteller, I have fun telling the stories. I protect my characters with a vengeance and our stories, to make sure that it comes from the truth of what I know these human beings to be, what I know these Black people to be. So if it, you know, politically or uh, opens doors for others, that is fantastic, because if it's happening privily because of the quality of the work we've been able to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel really good about it and proud of it. I feel like people will still be streaming Greenleaf next year, 5 years, 10 years. Somebody will say, have you seen this Greenleaf thing on Netflix
Uh-huh.
or, own on demand? It's really good. I mean, you should really check it out because its themes are universal. Its
Absolutely.
themes apply to all human beings.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who has ever wanted, got, and fought to maintain power and place. Uh, you know what that's about.
Absolutely.
Uh, Anybody who's been hurt or holds grudges and has to struggle with forgiveness knows what it's about. Anybody who's trying to maintain a long, mature marriage and it goes through all the ups and downs and disappointments and infidelities and all that stuff. It's universal themes as acted through us.
Absolutely. Our guest this morning is Miss Lynn Whitfield. She portrays Lady Mae on Greenleaf. OWN's hit drama series, and this is the final season for Greenleaf. Talk about what that invokes in you, seeing that you've seen it come from infancy now to its pinnacle. What has that process been like, processing that this is the last one?
Well, it's been fun. It's been very detailed. It's been very demanding because, you don't want to get it wrong, so working with the writers to make sure the stories are together properly, that it's the truth of this. I can only, do that for my own character. Each actor has to do, but making sure that we don't slight her in that you miss a step, of her growth, of her development. Like it was really important for me I think it was the third season, that people understood that Lady Mae may not have might have been in denial to think that there was anything um, off color or dangerous about her brother with her daughter, because we find out that she herself had been molested by her father, and she pushed it away, pushed it out of her mind, But it was important. And I said, no, it's important to see it in her, not just to have a monologue where you say, back in 1975, I got no, but you see. So I asked for this scene where she went to the hospital to see her father when he was dying, and she needed something from him. And she immediately fell into that relationship of molestation,
Old behavior, old behavior.
He kissed her and she allowed it. She became that little girl once again, wanting something from him, wanting approval from him. That was important to see, painful to see. And nobody knew we were going to do it. Nobody knew that he was going. In the final take, he said, he just on his lips, I said, let's go for it. And it was so uncomfortable. The director let it go as long as he could. And then it was like, God, that's enough of that. Oh my God, that was so uncomfortable.
So what is it that drives you to be so deep into the character and the story? Because that is meticulous in every sense of the word. Because and I'm a Greenleaf follower and watcher, and you could really feel that pain and those family secrets in that moment.
Because up till then, she was, this glamorous, controlling woman. And so it was not important just to hear. It was important to see what she had been through. Those things are, it just, because it all adds up to the layer upon layer upon layer. And before you know it, you've got this fully fleshed out character that hopefully people feel an intimacy with, feel that they've come to know, a character that they're invested in, care about, understand why she can be such a bee sometimes, Um, that's why it's important. That's why it's important in life, when you take the time to understand someone. My dad wrote a song once, don't talk about what I do or don't do until you walk in my shoes, um, it's that. It's bringing the audience the full experience of a person.
And it does. It allows you to look in and know that there is Lady Mae's persona of everything all perfect, all prim and proper, but you don't know what's deep down and those secrets that she has kept
Yes.
literally her whole life.
Yes, that's right. And that makes that is everyone has secrets, and everyone has a facade. Every human being. It may not be as, dramatic and drastic, but we all walk around in how we want people to perceive us. But there are always other things in us that we hope that people never see about us. Our insecurities, or our uh you know how we allow low self-esteem to manifest in those moments when no one's looking, and how it flips into something else when we feel these things, yet we're in the public eye. So it's really just how people are. It's more dramatic and everything because it's television, and we have to entertain people, and have a good beginning, middle, and end. But it's just what being a person is like. That's what it is.
Absolutely. And so I know you can't tell us what exactly is going to happen in season 5, this last season, but is there anything that happens that is absolutely unexpected that the viewers will say, gosh, I never would have thought it would have ended like that?
Yes, there is.
Just when you think it can't get any more dramatic, it does. And before we've got to let you go, we know that you're in Atlanta and you're shooting in Atlanta. Tell us about the energy there and what it feels like.
Well, it feels it's a strange feeling because, of course, the people that I know who really care about being alive are still being very careful. And a lot of people are, staying home, wearing masks. Uh, but when I go out, maybe a third of the people wear masks in the grocery store, or, on their errands. And you get a feeling that people are, worn out with this because, Americans, we've been through a lot of hard times, but we're pretty spoiled. I've been seeing Asian people in airports in masks for 20 years, but we aren't used to having to accommodate these kinds of things. And racially, it's strange because uh, even the mask become like a political stance.
Instead
You
of
know,
just putting others first, right? Because that's really
right?
what we're
Instead
doing
of
when we
just
wear the
putting
mask.
others first, it's like it's a statement.
Right.
And then everybody has an opinion about this loss of life of Mr. Brooks. We were watching TV in real time um, during all of it. My daughter and I were, and so the days after that, you see, you know, some white people who are discussing it and feeling remorse with us, and others that are very close-lipped and kind of cool. I was in Michael's the other day picking up a crafting thing, and I felt what I used to feel sometimes at home when I was a little girl. I felt racial tension directed, just in a line waiting to um and I forgot something on a shelf. So I went to the shelf and and that whole thing, and get my hand sanitized, things. So I think some people are coming from their corners of insecurity about this, about, and then so many other people are joining together. as we see in the streets, but it's a lot of levels. I mean, you're in Alexandria, there are a lot of levels. And I think that it's uncomfortable for some people to understand that America belongs to all of us. We're not here as a favor. It's not a favor that I'm here. You know, we helped build this place, and we are completely entitled to be here and completely entitled to a fair and equal criminal justice system. It just is. But I don't think everybody's comfortable with that common sense truth.
Wow. Well, I think that people, I hope, are trying to learn, and many people are asking the question and saying, "I didn't know," and so hopefully, America will begin to talk about the hurt that has been imposed on African American people, and we will not shout at each other. We'll shout at the issues, not the person. And hopefully we'll begin to heal. But right now we're in the midst of seeing so much violence, things that we only read about and didn't really see visually, but we're seeing people die. We
Exactly.
know, I mean, we know personally, we have a brother that was taken, his life was taken by police. And so it's taking
Mm.
us all to another level. And hopefully we'll be able to hear each other and start the healing process. But it is just that, a
But it's
process.
happening. That is happening. And I found myself with some of my friends saying, you know, that you care, that you want to know,
Right.
that it concerns you. It, for that, you personally, it's not about you feeling guilty. It is about us joining together and demanding better, all of us together. And that is happening. So more than anything, I'm hopeful. I'm horrified at the losses, but I'm very hopeful at what I see, and about what I see, and about what is happening. I think we just have to pray on it and keep persisting. And it must change. There's no way that it can continue forever this way. It must change. It is changing.
It is changing. And with that said, Miss Lynn, thank you so much for taking the time. Before you've got to go, tell people how they can catch Greenleaf and what's going to be the next thing on your list of things to do after all is said and done. We hear that there's going to be maybe a spinoff.
Well, yes, they can, see Greenleaf on Tuesday, 9, 8 Central tonight. Very exciting. We have the whole season to go through, I think the third week in August. We'll all be together. We'd love for the audience to, live tweet with us. You can see, if you haven't seen all of it, you can stream it on Netflix or on their version of OWN on demand. You can see all previous episodes. And there is word that they're working on seeing what a spinoff would look like. None of us have any idea of what that is yet, but I'm just so happy that we may be leaving Greenleaf, but we're not leaving the world of these people. And we'll see what characters they follow and all of that. As for myself personally, when this pandemic is over, I will be doing a play. There's a plan to bring Broadway to the Apollo. And floating around, there's a proposal that the Apollo become a Broadway house.
Wow.
So when COVID-19 shut everything down, I was on my way to New York to start rehearsal for a play called Blue, which will be directed by Felicia Richard.
Oh, wow.
Leslie Uggams is in it and is placed by mother-in-law, and it's a family dramedy. And we did a Zoom reading of it last week. It's really a good play. So I'll be doing that, and I'll be very prayerful about the next challenge, creative challenge that, God has for me, and hope I'll be up to the task.
I bet you will. We have so enjoyed Lady Mae and the Greenleafs, and we thank you so much. We know that we can only imagine how your time is in demand right now as we're trying to close out season 5, and we can't wait to see what will happen. Thank you so much for taking the time, Miss Lynn.
Thank you so much, and just give all my love to my state.
Indeed. We feel the love, and we thank you for bringing it back home. Our guest this morning, Miss Lynn Whitfield, she portrays Lady Mae on Greenleaf's own drama series. Stay on point. We're back with more right after this. Welcome back, everybody, to the OPT Network. This is my final point on point today. Needless to say, we are over the moon, our team, being able to have so many of the cast and characters from Greenleaf on our very program. We want to thank Miss Lynn Whitfield. Many of you may or may not know she is a Louisiana native from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Her mother still lives in Baton Rouge, and she took the time out to really just share what was on her heart. She plays the role of Lady Mae on Greenleaf. It is a drama series, a hit drama series that airs on OWN television. And so as we have these conversations, I know the world is still trying to comprehend all of the things that are happening. Many of us are still trying to process COVID-19 and what life going forward looks like. And Miss Lynn focused and touched on that just a little bit as they shoot Greenleaf and Atlanta and all of the things that we are seeing, the death of Rayshard Brooks, of course, and the death of George Floyd, and the way that America and the world are rising up to say equality is necessary, to hold those officers, not all, but those officers that take the lives of people that they are supposed to protect and serve. And what we've never shared is that we've had a brother that has died in the hands of law enforcement, tased to death. And so it is time for everybody to rise up and hold people who are breaking the law accountable. All people, no matter what their race. And I hope and pray, as we talked about a little bit in this segment, that America and the world will begin to heal. But there are so many hurts that have been perpetrated on people of color that we all have to take the time to listen, to understand, and most of all, to be empathetic. And when we show our empathy and we listen, we all start to learn. Because we're all God's children. God created us all. And I've said this before, love and forgiveness will be the path forward. But we all have to have the conversation of equality. Because equality is something that all peoples desire. Nobody wants to be at the bottom, scraping to get to the top. We all want to be treated equal and fairly in the eyes of the law and in the eyes of the world. And that, family, is my final point on point today. Stay with us. We're back to wrap up after this.